Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone, to the start of a brand new season, a brand new campaign. Welcome to the Champ Car Challenger Series. We kick off the season in northern Adelaide. Bunnings Trade Motorsports Park, the site of the season opener for the Champ Car Challenger Series. Someone gets to make history here this afternoon. First time the series has visited Adelaide in South Australia in its 25 years. It's a doubleheader weekend. Today is the Challenger Series. Tomorrow is the Champ Car World Series. Welcome everyone to ABN Studios for coverage of the season all season long. It's going to be a very interesting race as we get into the swing of this. The Challenger Series and the World Series. What's the difference? What does it mean? Why does the Challenger Series have 33 cars? 33 cars will take to the starting grid here this afternoon for the Challenger Series. The beginning, the resurrection of the national championship. Last year, we saw a lot of entries. Over 40 cars trying to take part in every race weekend in the Champ Car World Series, fighting for the IndyCar World Championship. Horizon Corporation, the parent company for Champ Car, made the decision. Make a second series. Sort of like how on the NAMRA side of things, the Cup Series is the Grand National Series. There was an expressed desire to have a feeder series, a development series. The biggest difference is that the teams are using the same equipment as the World Series, the same engines from Chevrolet, from Ford, from Honda, and Toyota. The same CC22 chassis developed by Andromeda Automotive Initiative. The same tires provided by Firestone, which is the title sponsor of the series. The same fuel provided by Speedway. The same E85 ethanol and butanol mixture. The renewable fuel source in the World Series is also used here. A lot of the same tracks, including today here at Bunnings Trade Motorsports Park, what was formerly the Gould Creek Raceway. We get to see all of this in full swing. This is not a large facility by any stretch of the imagination. It's a 2.070 mile track. It is not a large facility by any stretch of the imagination. But the drivers have been universally in praise for the facility, saying that it is a lot of fun to drive around this facility. It's wrestled in between clay quarries, and as you see, part of the track is tinted red. That is intentional, to kind of shout out the red clay that is produced in those quarries here in Gould Creek. Bunnings Trade, obviously the title sponsor of the facility, helping securing the track here for 3 years. It was initially supposed to be the Bend Motorsports Park over in Tailem Bend. That has changed. Now it is here at Bunnings Trade, and it will be for the next 3 years. So we get to see a lot of racing. Practice was close. Qualifying was closer. Almost half a second separating first from 33rd. It doesn't get a lot closer than that. I want to see all of that racing here this afternoon. Again, 33 cars. You will see some spread out racing here because it is a very flowing, a very ribbony racetrack. Reminds me a lot of Barber Motorsports Park over in the United States. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be challenging for the drivers. 94 laps is what they will take on here today, and 94 laps for the World Series tomorrow. Same race lengths. Another important distinction there between the two. We'll talk about the starting grid in just a moment. But as we do that, we will head and send it track side for the most famous words in all of motorsports for the first time in 2024.
Drivers, start your engines!
The 33 cars The thousands of horsepower come to life for the first time for a points race for the IndyCar National Championship. Everyone beginning to roll here at Bunnings Trade Motorsports Park. As the racing begins in earnest. We'll look at the starting grid. Valerie Fang and Isabel Espinoza will start at the front of the field. Two veterans from the World Series, now in the Challenger Series for Escuderia Eguia, trying to rebuild the three-car effort there. Valerie Fang in the NTT data machine Phoenix Motorsports. Phoenix Motorsports for the first time in 26 years back at open wheel racing after spending so much time in stock car racing. The stock car strike going on right now in North America, forcing teams to look elsewhere. We saw Lubbock Motorsports make that transition last season. Phoenix Motorsports returning as well. Roberto Crown Jr., 11-time NAMRA Cup Series race winner. He is in row 2 alongside Katrina Ochoa. Asada Quito in row number 3 alongside Keisha Fox, Kira Moore, and Isabel Lontra. In row 4, Maria Chavez and Mia Vitsut make up row number 5. Row 6, it's the Finnish driver, Rachel Koivuniemen, back in full-time competition for the first time in 3 years, alongside Yuya Ishii. The 2021, the defending NAMRA Cup Series champion, Sonia Walker, debuts in open wheel racing for Cat Devil Racing alongside Striker Motorsports, Katerina Malinkovich. For Sonia Walker, this is very interesting. A loan deal was placed to help get Walker some seat time. Walker in the NAMRA Cup Series race for Striker Motorsports. Maria Damata and Rex Riley make up row number 8. Row 9 is Arashi Seto and Natalia Kurichenko. Aspasia Megalos and Dale Blanco in row 10. They make up the top 20. Sora Hoshino, Enrica Venalainen in row number 11. Row 12 is Karina Sakurauchi and Seth Smith Jr., Felicia Zappa, and Nara Takarasi round out the top 26. Green flag is in the air and away we go. Racing here in Adelaide. Approaching turn 1. Everyone cycles through, still side by side. Fang and Espinoza. A little bit of pavement there for Espinoza to use to stay side by side as they battle for the race lead here on lap 1. In 94 laps, a lot of challenge for the group. As the racing begins in earnest. Ford and Toyota 1 and 2. But it's Fords all over the place right now at the front of the field. You see the Escuderia Eguia cars, all 3 of them Fords, as well as the Black Rose Racing cars. 3 Fords there as well. Roberto Crown, the best Black Rose Racing car at the moment. Keisha Fox coming down pit lane early. Is there a puncture for the 62? There might be. Actually, Isabel Espinoza also came down pit lane. So trouble there. Valerie Fang with a little bit of damage alongside the number 54 machine. Maybe why Espinoza came down pit lane. Side by side early on was not without contact. There's Katrina Ochoa, the 27. Roberto Crown in the 10. There is the 22, Asada Quito. It looks like there might be a little bit of damage on the 22 car as well. Not hindering him too awful much here. There is Kira Moore, the Vancouver native, in the mix as Crown tries to take on Ochoa. Early goings here in Adelaide. And you see the red tarmac, what we were talking about earlier, one of the qualities there, the red clay that is produced by the quarries here. You see cars coming out of pit lane. That is Espinoza, who had significant repairs done. And now, in going a lap down from second place on the grid. Now a lap down. Does she help her teammate out here at all? Ochoa teammates there with Espinoza, the 26, 27, and 29. All teammates for the Escuderia Gia team, the legendary Argentine stable. Everyone's sorting in behind those two. More, there's Lantra in the 45. Both of the Phoenix Motorsports cars did well in qualifying yesterday. Looking to do well again here on race day. Lantra qualified in 8th. See that Gamebridge Toyota going up the hill towards turn 1. Ahead of Mia Vitsu, 35, a DHL car. Then there's Yuya Ishii and Rachel Koivanemi. Koivanemi up to the 6th spot ahead of Maria Chavez. There's Chavez in the Telcel number 29. And then you have the 30 of Milenkovic. Sonia Walker in 9th, Rex Rally up to 10th. The highest running Fortune Racing car. Obviously 2nd year of Champ Car Racing for Riley. And then just up the top 10 is Maria Damata. And then Natalia Kurichenko ahead of the Crystal Cove car of Dale Blanco. Blanco qualified 20th and now sits in 13th. There is the 66. That is Aspasia Megalos. Sitting now in 15th position. Face Poria Racing did not have a great qualifying effort at all. Two of the cars at the very back of the field. You think about the 75 of Luisa Floros and Karina Amara, who started dead last in this field. Aspasia Megalos was not too far away from them either. Did not have a great start in the slightest. Megalos started 19th, so up to 14th place as another car comes down pit lane. Was that Valerie Feng? It was. Valerie Feng did come down pit lane. We talked about the damage that was on the side pod of that 54. And it has been fixed. So there was some sort of issue. It happened to Asada Quito as well. And this helps out Isabel Espinoza big time. Now she's back on the lead lap in 33rd, but on the lead lap. And her teammate's not going to have a lot of incentive to pass, knowing that Espinoza is a fast car. But early chaos here in the opening laps. We're on lap 6, going to complete lap 6 and start lap 7. Here in Gold Creek, it is Katrina Ochoa, the veteran driver, leading Kira Moore and Isabel Lantra up to 3rd. Down the hill through turn 2 into turn 3. Through the pavement. Phenomenal stuff here as Lantra sits in the 3rd spot, the Maltese driver. Then you have the 35, Mia Vitsu. And then the 44 of Yuya Ishii, who did not have a great time in the World Series trying to qualify for every round last season. Right now sitting in the 5th position to kick things off. Koivanemi just behind in 6th. 7th is Chavez. Then you see the work there. There is Milenkovic in that Sunoco car. There's 2 of them here in Adelaide. The 30 with the yellow windscreen, blue windscreen you'll see tomorrow on board of Stephanie Porter-Kelly's car. The 2 Bosnians running in yellow and blue, as well as the Brazilian of Maria Damata, who is now in range of the top 10, sitting in 11th behind Rex Riley. Riley in the top 10 now. See the battling side by side there. That is Seto in the 52. And I believe we're looking at the 87 of Riikka Venäläinen. It is Venäläinen, who did not have a great qualifying session at all. A lot of pressure on that 87 car of Venäläinen. Venäläinen qualified 22nd. Up to 16th, up 6 spots. Riikka Venäläinen, the story of the Finnish driver, younger sister to the late Henna Venäläinen, making her way stateside to race in the World Championship. Getting around the 52 of Seto. Put Venäläinen up to the 15th spot, up 7th. Bummer starting spot in this race. There is the 66 of Megalos on track right now behind the Crystal Cove racing car of Dale Blanco. And Natalia Kurachenko not far away either. As they browse and peruse near the front of the field, it is still Katrina Ochoa leading the race over Kira Moore and Isabel Lantra as they complete the first 9 laps. We're going to go non-stop coverage for those on ABN Plus. Enjoy the sights and sounds without commercials for those watching around the world. We'll be right back here in Adelaide. Racing continues in the Grand Prix of Adelaide. Well, welcome back from non-stop coverage here of the Grand Prix of Adelaide, the Autotrader Grand Prix of Adelaide, the first round of the Champ Car Challenger Series, presented by Firestone. 18 races in the season. It begins here in Australia. We'll be back again on March 17th at Phoenix Raceway. First oval of the season coming up in 2 weeks' time. Tomorrow is the Shell V-Power Grand Prix of Adelaide for the Champ Car World Series, the first of 24 rounds and the first of 3 for the World Series here in Australia. They'll go a week later to Melbourne, sharing the Melbourne Street Circuit with the Supercars Championship. Again, a doubleheader next weekend, March 9th and March 10th from the Albert Park vicinity. We're looking at Katrina Ochoa leading the way in this race. Car 27, a DoorDash Escuderia Gia car, shadowing Isabel Espinosa, who had a pit stop for damage repair. Ended up behind Valerie Fang, who also had to make a pit stop to repair damage that was received on the opening lap. It puts Ochoa in the lead. It puts Espinosa on the lead lap, but just barely in 33rd. All 33 cars still running on the racetrack. 5 cars had to make an early pit stop for damage repair. Valerie Fang, Asada Quito, Roberta Crown, Keisha Fox, along with Isabel Espinosa, offering to make pit stops early on in this race. It puts Ochoa in front of Kira Moore, the Canadian rookie for Frostfire Racing, sitting in second, right ahead of the Maltese driver, Isabel Lontra. 3 different teams at the front of the field here make that 5 when you look at the 35 of Mia Vitsut in the 44 of Yuya Ishii. 6 when you look at Rachel Koivanemi, the Arasaka machine for Arrowhead Racing. And then you have to go all the way down. There is Maria Chavez, the 3rd Escuderia Gia machine, ahead of Katarina Milinkovic. Milinkovic in the top 10, sitting at 8 ahead of Sonia Walker. Rex Rally in the last spot in the top 10. Tires beginning to wear here on lap 15. There is the 8 of Maria Damata, a Champ Car World Series race winner at Texas last season. Really big underdog win, the first one of the 2023 season, but struggled otherwise. Now part of the 3-car squad for the Atomic Autosport Black Rose Racing connection, along with Crown, who had a good qualifying effort but had damage and had to make a pit stop, and Jace Clark returning to full-time competition for the first time in years. There is, at the center of your screen, the 40 of Natalia Kurachenko, the Alienware car, sitting just outside the top 10 in 12th. Dale Blanco for Crystal Cove Racing, not a bad debut for him. Blanco had appearances in the Atlantic Championship back in 2022, but spent more than a year out of the car. Not doing bad, getting in the car and making the most of the opportunity here for Crystal Cove Racing and its return to Top Flight Racing. There's Spasia Megalos in 14th, Rika Venäläinen in 15th, ahead of Arashi Seto, the 52 machine. Then you have the 09, the second team Sakura car right there in tow of Sora Hoshino. Then you have Nera Takarasi, former Indianapolis 500 champion. The 5 of Seth Smith Jr. finally getting his opportunity after being a development driver for a couple years. He's sitting ahead right now of Jake Carter. Then you have Karina Sakurachi. For Verizon Team Impulse, Karina sitting right now not where she wants to be, sitting right now 21st. Started this race lower though, did not have a great start of the weekend. Started this race in 23rd, so up a couple spots ahead of Felicia Zappa and ahead of Luisa Floros. Floros, from 32nd on the grid, has already made up 9 spots. Floros, that almost that lemon yellow and blue. Pace Poria racing car getting around and battling with Jace Clark. Clark in that number 9, that Coca-Cola Cherry car Now dealing with the rookie Amity Pulstrix. Pulstrix's first Champ Car event. Going toe-to-toe with someone who won in the Champ Car World Series, won at Brno back in 2020. Just hasn't found his footing full-time until now. Cars trying to move around here. That is the 23 of Yumina Mizuno. And then you see there is the 4 of Karina Amara. And the 04 Melody Smith racing at home. Right now sitting in the 28th position. Further down the order, there's Valerie Fang. There is the 22 of Asada Quito. There's Keisha Fox, and there's Roberta Crown, sort of on an island there. Then you have Isabel Espinoza, and then back to the front of the field. Lap 19 and 94. This is expected to be a 2 pit stop race. They brought the primary tires for both the Challenger Series and the World Series. Didn't know what this track would be like. And you see a little bit of patchwork already been done on this facility. You see the difference in the tarmac as you go in from the regular asphalt to the oxidized iron enriched asphalt. Firestone did a lot of data looking at this racetrack as far as what they would feel comfortable bringing. And this red piece of tarmac, this red piece of ribbon in the final half of the lap, there's notably less grip when compared to the rest of the lap. Obviously, 2 different tire compounds you get to see throughout the year. The primary black wall tires like what we're seeing today. And when we head to Melbourne for the World Series, we'll see the alternate tires, the red walls. Big difference there. And whoa, car with an engine failure. That is Milenkovic. Katerina Milenkovic with a let-go equipment. Trying to get that Chevrolet back around. First retirement for mechanical issues. And it's the engine that everyone thought was the tank. This season, it's the Chevrolet that lets go first. And this is a big chance. If this is an engine failure, this is an automatic 10-position grid penalty for the next race in Phoenix. 10 spots immediately for an engine let go during the race. Milenkovic trying to limp it back around safely. Getting off the racetrack here where it gets very banked and curved. Staying off the racetrack here. And will make it back to pit lane. But very unfortunate there for Milenkovic, who will be the first retirement of the Challenger Series. That's absolutely gutting for Milenkovic, who was doing so well up to that point. Committee complete lap 21 to start lap 22. 19 laps led by Katrina Ochoa at the moment, and it is confirmed an engine failure for Milenkovic. We'll see if we can get information furthermore as to why the engine let go for the 30. But Chevrolet letting go one of its own in the opening round. Milenkovic out with an engine failure on lap 21. Milenkovic will score a measly 5 points to kick off the season. Two lead changes in this race. Valerie Fang led the opening 2. Ochoa's led 6. And the slipstream being provided by teammate Isabel Espinoza, is doing dividends right now for Ochoa, keeping Kira Moore and Isabel Lontra at bay. There is 35, Mia Vitsu, just outside the podium places. Was very impressive in the World Series and the limited runs that the Estonian driver got last season. Shows the talent though. There's a pull of it, and Yuya Ishii now on level footing, having the ability to fight as well. Right now sitting in the top 5, sitting in 5th ahead of Koivunieemi. But Koivunieemi closing in a little bit more as Ishii loses touch with Vitsu. Again, 2 pit stop race expected. Expected that we'll see pit stops around lap 40 to 43-ish is when we'll see most of the field come in, if not a little bit sooner. And that puts the second pit stop a little bit around lap 80. 2-stop sequence for pit stops here in Adelaide. Up the hill into turn 1. You see how close Mia Vitsut is to Isabel Lontra, the Estonian and the Maltese, going after it for that 3rd spot in the podium. Lontra in the black and yellow, Vitsut in the red and yellow. And they're both behind Kira Moore, the Canadian driver right now running in the green and black. We're on lap 24 of 94, coming to 70 laps to go in this race. Starting lap 25. And pretty line of center, 4-car pack here. From Ishii down to Sonia Walker. There's Sonia Walker in the Pepsi car. And then you have Maria Damata, now 9th. Natalia Kurachenko, the other striker car in the field, after Milinkovic had a retirement. And it looks like we've had another Chevrolet retirement, another engine failure for Chevrolet. Rex Riley out of the top 10. Rex Riley was in the 10th spot. Would have gained a spot on Milinkovic, and now is out as well. So 2 engine failures for Chevrolet. The bow ties are panicking, and there's a lot of bow ties in the fringe of the top 10. Kurachenko, Blanco, Venäläinen, all Chevrolets either in or around the top 10 at the moment. So this has to be concerning if you're the likes of Kurachenko. Kurachenko now in 10th, Blanco 11th, Megalos in 12th, Venäläinen 13th, Seto 14th, Hoshino 15th, Takarasi, Carter, Sakurachi, Smith, Zappa, your top 20. And Luisa Flores now up to more than 10 spots, up to 20th. Up to 21st, excuse me. So 2 retirements in quick succession for Chevrolet have really kind of thrown everyone for a little bit of a loop. Tires letting go here just a little bit more. But you're not going to gain the time you need to overcome a 3-stop deficit. You need to stick to the 2-stop strategy here. And that's the thing for these drivers right now. They need a caution badly. Keisha Fox not far away from being back in the grip of Isabel Espinoza. And more importantly, Katrina Ochoa, the race leader, who can see the 62 not far away. But now you're seeing Ochoa trying to get the lead out because she realizes now that Isabel Espinoza is no longer the fastest car in this pairing. And she could use the assistance behind, because the further that we get into this race and Ochoa cannot get clear of Espinoza, if there's an undercut strategy in play, and it looks like there could be here in Adelaide, that is in the hands of more Lantra and Vitsu. It is imperative that they arrange something, because the group is getting closer and closer. There's Ishii, there is Koivanami. There's Chavez, the third as a Gia car right there. There's Sonia Walker. And not far away, not far from punching range, is Damata and company. Remember, Espinoza came down pit lane on the opening lap for damage, for a puncture. Was there more damage done that is now causing handling issues for the 26? Ochoa trying to play the team game. But there is urgency, because there is more. Landra overdrove turn 1. Through turn 3. Kira Moore's right in the gearbox of Ochoa. This is going to be a very interesting fight to see if Moore pulls the trigger here. Again, a very flowing racetrack, but not a lot of braking opportunities to try to make a dive, to make a pass. Kind of have to muscle your way around. And these cars are difficult to do that. You really have to make sure you've got a proper response here. Oh, Moore losing traction there to start the lap. Gives Ochoa some breathing space. Big time breathing room now for Ochoa. And it is no slouch here, less than a minute lap in qualifying. Fast lap right now belongs to Ishii in this race. It's Ishii, then Seto, the fastest laps of the race so far. 180 miles an hour entering turn 1. Ochoa continues to lead, but it feels like there's a little bit of peril now being felt by the race leader. Up the hill. Lantra now on the gearbox of the 67. There's a 45 and the 67 battling for second place. A little bit of a gap down to Vitsut in fourth. Vitsut's got mirrors full of Ishii and Koivanami. Here we go. Final sector of the lap, where grip is at a paramount and tested to the extreme. Full throttle to start the lap. And you see a really good gauge of the incline there into turn 1. Ooh, Ishii stepping out a little bit sideways there. Approaching turn 3. Obviously turn 2 kind of falls away from you. Falls down into the right, and you have to turn left for turn 3. Not easy. Keisha Fox, not far away either. But gaining a little bit of time here on Espinoza. Number 26 machine, Royal Crown Kolakar. Still under pressure from her teammate to get it all together. But so far, Ochoa has not been under extreme duress yet from Moore or from Lantra. Good running so far. A lot of fun here in Adelaide, though. It's an absolutely fantastic racetrack. Everyone's figuring out this racetrack for the first time. They've got 3 years at least to figure it out. We know pit stops are not too far away. See if drivers try to go for the one-stop strategy. Lap 47 is the end of the first half of the race. If they can get to lap 48, they can do this on a one-stop race. Espinoza, looks like that door's opening a little bit more and more for Ochoa to try to find a way around. Nothing there. Oh, it feels like there's going to be a send at some point by Moore or by Lantra to really amp up the pressure here. Well, while we're watching this battle for the race, we'll talk about it a little bit because there's a lot that kind of goes into the Challenger Series. The top 4 in the championship, there's a lot to fight for. The top 4 in the Challenger Series at the end of the year have the ability to be promoted. Promotion and relegation, a thing now in American open wheel racing. The top 4 in the Challenger Series have the ability to take promotion into the World Series the following season in place of one of the lower 4 finishers of the World Series. Now, they can decline that promotion if they do not feel like they have the resources or the funding to make a genuine and valid effort at the championship. Here comes a chance for Ochoa to the outside, entering turn 1 of Espinoza. That's going to be close. Through 2. Very crucial for Ochoa to get around Espinoza. You don't want to risk being challenged by Moore or by Lantra. And now Espinoza gets to hold up Ochoa while Ochoa tries to build a gap for pit stops. Oh, Lantra lost a lot of time entering the middle half of the lap. Defended well from Vitsu, but here comes Ishii. The Yanjian Motorsport car, the 44, trying to go for position. Still side by side. Now it's popping off as tires reach critical mass. Side by side, Yuya Ishii, Rachel Koivanami, down the front straightaway now. Can Koivanami outbrake Ishii into 1 up the hill? Side by side, it's important. Koivanami has the lane. Not the run though, 3-3. Still side by side, a little bit of exit tarmac there. Koivanami can use it. Didn't put all 4 tires, importantly, off of the racetrack, so that's a legal pass. And Koivanami takes 5th place. Really good stuff there. Everyone moved at the same time. Here comes Moore attacking Espinoza, who is now a lap down. Ochoa's opened up over a second. And that was so critical for Ochoa to try to open up a gap to avoid the undercut on pit stops. Now she's got the ability to. That was huge. As I was mentioning before, everything decided to pop off there. The top 4 entries in the Challenger Series at the end of the season can choose to be promoted, or they can wait. However, if you finish top 4 3 seasons in a row, you have to take a promotion in the World Series on that 4th season. But there's a lot of teams that have either been in the World Series or would love to be in the World Series, fighting for those top 4 spots. Also important to note that teams that already have 3 cars in the World Series cannot promote more into the World Series. They can't say, because like Team Impulse, for example, they've got 3 cars in the World Series already and 2 cars here in the Challenger Series with Asada Kito and Karina Sakurachi. The 12 and the 22 for Team Impulse would not be able to get promoted unless one of the other cars failed to get promoted, or one of the other cars was demoted. And here comes, that is Chavez to the outside of Ishii. Ishii losing another spot from 5th to 6th and now 7th for the 44. So Ishii losing touch with those Firestone tires. Still trying to attack, trying to get that spot back from Chavez. Heavy braking zone, you see it there. But Chavez feigns to the outside. And Sonia Walker's up next. Ishii is probably going to be one of the first ones to come down pit lane. Just is not keeping touch with those tires where they're at right now. Did valiantly so far. Was holding in the top 5 for so long in the race so far. But now it's all falling apart and unraveling. A pit stop here, knowing it's still a 2-stop strategy call, wouldn't have been the worst situation in the world. Walker leans in heavily on that extra space in the exit of 3. And will complete the pass here. So Ishii drops down another spot. And you saw that was Katrina Ochoa's made a pit stop. Has made a big time pit stop here. There's Ochoa. And not really close, not in front of Fang or Quito or Crown. So those 3 cars for a moment will end up with the advantage here, as Pulsatrix being contested by Yumina Mizuno. There's Felicia Zappa, there is the 5 of Seth Smith Jr. The 12 of Sakurachi. There's the 55 of Carter. And then there is Takarasi, there is the 09. I believe that is of Hoshino, it is. And the 52 of Arashi Seto. Ooh, battling here side by side is Damata and Kurachenko. Tapping it out wide. They're giving each other a lot of space here. Still side by side. Oh, Kurachenko got sent wide by Damata. Contact on that left rear tire for Kurachenko by the wing of Damata. Damata tried to send it into 3, it didn't work. Keep an eye on that 40 car. Make sure there's not a puncture. We've already seen a couple this race. Moore leading this race now. Over Lantra, over Vitsu. And Moore is going to come down pit lane. And so will Koivanami. Isabel Lantra will lead a lap for the first time in the Champ Car Challenger Series. Phoenix Motorsports, their first race in open wheel racing in 26 years. And they've got a car leading this race once again. Valerie Fang started on pole, led 2 laps. Lantra leads this lap now too. Maria Chavez, the Telcel 29, up to 3rd. A lot of cars came down pit lane that time. They could not get to 47, which is what they were trying to do. There's a Luisa Floros. There's Amity Pulsatrix. Jace Clark. Believe that is the 12. One of those cars that are in this group as well. That is the 12 of Sakurashi. And the 50 of Felicia Zappa. There is the 55 of Carter, Jake Carter. The 66 of Aspasia Megalos. A lot of cars came down pit lane that time. Importantly, not even close for Katrina Ochoa, who loses a giant amount of time on pit stops. Kira Moore has a chance to really get the race lead here. A lot of cars in pit lane now, including Lantra and company. Saw the car going by that is Valerie Fang, who will re-inherit the race lead. Asada Quito up to 2nd. Isabel Espinosa will be a lap down. There is Lantra leaving pit lane now. And there's Kira Moore getting ahead of the 45. But Lantra will also get ahead of Ochoa. Ochoa not in the top 5. There's Walker on the outside. Cold tires for Ishii. Can't really put up a fight there out of 3. First round of pit stops are complete, and as we said in the window, between 40 and 43 is when most of the field will come in. That is exactly what happened. And a lot of cars that stayed out, that have stayed out so far, need to make a pit stop here imminently too. Valerie Fang, one of those cars. Asada Quito, another one of those cars. Fang goes ahead and comes in now. And Quito will stay out, so Asada Quito will be a race leader. So pretty big stuff there for the 22 for Verizon Team Impulse. Actually, excuse me, Del Blanco's not yet pit. I'm trying to see where Del Blanco is at. I think Del Blanco just came down pit lane. So we do believe that Quito is the race leader now. There is the 26 of Espinoza. There is Kira Moore, who is set to inherit the race lead once Quito pits. Lantra 2nd, Vitsu 3rd, Koivanemi 4th, 5th is Ochoa. Then you have Sonia Walker. There's Del Blanco, I believe. Yeah, there he is. He's just now sorted out on track here. Blanco in the 56. There is Ishii. So Blanco has made his pit stop there. And Quito's in pit lane now. He will cross start finish line. There it is. So he will lead a lap officially. Kuramoro, however, will take the lead away. Everyone's made their mandatory pit stops. Obviously, some drivers have now made 2 pit stops in this race, which puts them on the back foot. Again, a caution changes everything here in Adelaide with how the strategies have fallen. If there is going to be a pit stop that neutralizes everything, it's going to have to come between lap 50 and lap 80. Excuse me, actually between lap 53 and lap 80. Or lap 53 and... yeah, lap 53 and 80. There you go. Just trust the math. Trust the math. Kira Moore leads, the Canadian driver, labeled as a prodigy by Frostfire Racing. Former Canadian F4 champion. Jumped in. Made a debut last season, ran a few races. The rookie is in full force. There is Isabel Lantra in 2nd. 2 rookies in front of the field. Mia Vitsut in third. Major Koivu in fourth. And Katrina Ochoa going to be very frustrated with how pit stops went out that first time around. From the lead to fifth, lost out to the overcut. Ochoa will be fuming. Sonia Walker in sixth. Blanco in seventh. Eighth is Ishii. Maria Damata in ninth. And Natalia Kurechenko top 10 is how things look at the moment. We'll go through the field. We are at the halfway point here. 11th place belongs right now to Maria Chavez, just ahead of Rika Venäläinen. Venäläinen in 12th, Aspasia Megalos in 13th. Jake Carter up to the 14th position ahead of Nero Takarasi. There is the 52 of Hirashi Seto. There is the 09 of Sora Hoshino. Then the 12 of Karina Sakurachi. There's the 50 of Felicia Zappa. There's Luisa Floros in the 75. There is the 4 of Karina Amara. The 23 of Yumina Mizuno. Then Seth Smith Jr. had a bad pit stop as well. Chase Clark. Side by side there, that battle between Melody Smith and Amity Pulsatrix. Pulsatrix is the better of the two on that occasion. And then you have further down, you have Valerie Fang, Asada Kito, Roberto Crown, Keisha Fox, and there is now 31st placed Isabel Espinoza, still on the lead lap. Again, would really love a caution to come out here in the next few laps to try to be able to fight something back here in Gold Creek. But you see the spacing already a lot looser than it was in the first stanza of this race. Not nearly as compact and refined as it was when you had Ochoa at the front of the field and then you had everyone nose to tail. A lot of spacing as Moore stretches her legs, so does Lantra. And the 35 of Beat Suit. Again, a little bit of spacing for everybody. You see there is Rachel Koivu trying to go for a podium. For Arrowhead Racing, representing Arasaka Corporation. Big time race vibes for the 61 for Koivu. What a story of redemption for Koivu. Was suspended at the end of 2020. Ended up losing a full-time ride. And then let go from Red Bull Highlight Racing at the end of last year. Gets picked up by Airhead Racing as a fourth car when they had other drivers available. Santiago Saitia being one of those drivers. They went with Koivu, giving the Finnish driver a shot. And Koivu so far responding in kind, with Keisha Fox having to make that early pit stop because of damage. It's put Koivu in the spotlight for the team to bring home valuable points. Again, the top finisher per team scores points. Right now, that's Koivu for Arrowhead Racing, and it puts Arrowhead right in the mix with Phoenix, with Cat Devil Racing, and right now with Frostfire Racing. That's all very important in the mix of things. Minimize the damage and knock off the rust too. Koivu not done a road course race this is her first road course race in 3 years. When she was with Rebel Highlight Racing those last 3 years, she did the Triple Crown races. Indianapolis, and at that time, Pocono, and then Fontana. But this is Koivu element. Obviously came over from the European ladder system, came over from Formula 2 at a time that a lot of drivers were coming over from Formula 2. That was about the same time that Nicole Lecty came over from Formula 2. Simona Leroux came over from Formula 1. European ladder system, a lot of people lost direction, didn't have really a place to go. And now here they are. And now there's even more opportunities with the Challenger Series. 33 cars on top of the 26 in the World Series. I want to see some stock car drivers in the mix as well. Obviously Wyatt Jones in the World Series. Here in the Challenger Series, you got Sonia Walker and Roberto Crown Jr. They've stepped in with the stock car strike going on. Obviously, a huge rookie class here in the Challenger Series as Koivuniemen struggles and comes down pit lane early. Huge problems for Koivuniemen, who now will fall from the top 5. And it seemed like there was an issue there for Koivuniemen. It really lost touch with the beat suit all of a sudden and came down that time. At the front, still Kira Moore by a little under half a second from Isabel Lontra. 3 cars out, the third Chevrolet engine is gone. Riikka Venäläinen, her race is over. And it's not an engine failure, it's a gearbox failure. My apologies, so it's not an engine failure for Chevrolet, it's a gearbox failure. Reminder that if we're losing an engine, losing a part of the engine, it's a 10-place grid penalty for the next race. Everyone uses the same gearbox. It's the same 6-speed gearbox for across both series. If that expires, it is not a penalty. So Venäläinen will not have a penalty. However, Rex Riley and Katarina Milenkovic, they will have penalties for engine failures on their power units. Lantras at second, Vitsu third, but they're trying to chase down the Canadian Kira Moore. There's Katrina Ochoa now in 4th place ahead of Sonia Walker. There is the 56 of Del Blanco, just outside the top 5. Yuya Ishii now in the 7th position. Maria Damata in 8th. 9th place, Natalia Kurachenko. 10th place, Israel finds the 29 of Maria Chavez. And then you see there's the Aspasia Megalos in the 66, sitting right there in 11th position, close to the top 10. What a climb for that team. And they've had to climb. They didn't have a choice. Flora started 32nd. Karina Amara started 33rd. Flores was the best of the bunch. Sorry, Megalos was the best of the bunch and started in the 19th position, so up 8 spots already in this race. List right now just outside the top 10, trying to close in on this fight. Yeah, middle stands out of the race. We're officially in the second half here. And it is Ishii leading this line. Ishii in the 7th position. 7th really to 12th in this group. Miss Blanco trying to chase down the top 5. What a way for Crystal Cove Racing to return. Three cars in a tandem here between Ochoa, Walker, and Blanco. There's Carter, there's Takarasi in 13th. 14th, you see there, that is the 52 of Arashi Seto. Sora Hoshino in the 09. And then you have, that is the 12 of Karina Sakurashi. Felicia Zappa in the mix as well. That is in 17th position for Felicia Zappa, 16th for Sakurachi. Then you see Luisa Floros. Really good run for both of the Phase Foria cars from 33rd and 32nd. They're inside the top 20, 18th and 19th at the moment. Big time gains for Floros and Amara. Luisa Floros spent a couple years as a development driver for Arrowhead Racing. Never really landed a driving job there in a race. There's a lot of testing though for the team. Of the three cars Phase Poria is running, Floros has the most experience in Champ Car equipment. Was the first driver on that team to actually test out the car that we have now, the CC22. I see the CC20 that we had to start off the new era. It didn't have the windscreen that we see now. The 2022 season was the first season with the windscreen. Floros tested the windscreen version of the car in October of 2021, was the first driver to do so. But obviously when you don't have driving gigs for extended periods of time across 2 years, you struggle a little bit. And that's sort of what we saw there with everyone trying to knock the dust off, especially drivers that were part of the Atlantic program. There wasn't really a lot for them to do, anywhere for them to go. As you see, that was Felicia Zappa going way wide in 3. Mar there in the 4. Then you see the 23 of Mizuno. Then Seth Smith Jr. There's the 9 of Jace Clark. There's the 71 of Pulsatrix. There's the 04 Smith. And then the drivers that need a safety car, and they're going to get one. They're going to get one. Koivanami's still on pit lane. Not sure what's happened here, but it is a caution at the most magical time. Is it for Koivanami, who's back in pit lane? What has happened here for Koivanami? Koivanami on her own. Oh no. Both Arrowhead Racing cars near each other, because that was Keisha Fox just behind the 62. What happened to Koivanami? She came down pit lane for an issue earlier, dropped from the 4th position. They thought they had it fixed. What happened to the 61? Oh, it just lets go big time. It lets go in a massive way. Down the hill, in the final sector. And that is complete power failure for Koivanami, and the car comes in to a stop in a stricken area on the racing surface. That is 100% a caution there. First one of the race, and it is a retirement for Koivanami. That is huge. That is absolutely massive. So this gives everyone a break. Isabel Espinoza is pumping fists in the air right now, as she now has a chance to fight, and the entire field will make a run to pit lane for 4 fresh tires and fuel for what might be, or at least is planned to be, the last pit stop of the race. So all the cars come down pit lane here. Let's follow the race on pit lane and see who's got it. Topping off fuel only is Ochoa, who takes the lead over Lantra, Vitsuit, Walker, Blanco, Moore. A lot of cars taking some fuel only or 2 tires. A lot of the field, though, took 4. Wow. Obviously, for the drivers that are coming in later, like Crown, like Isabel Espinosa, take your 4 tires and just run with it. Espinosa only took 2. That is wild. Absolutely wild. So we're going green at the end of this lap. Ochoa with the play to go for the track position. We'll see if it plays out. It is Ochoa, Lantra at the front of the field. Vitsuit, Walker, Blanco, your top 5. Kira Moore on 4 tires and 6th. Green flag is back in the air. Away we go. And the field is bunched together again. Keep an eye on the 67 or more. 4 fresh tires for the 67. The first driver to do so. But those tires are also at their coldest. There's more, side by side. With Maria Del Mata. Entering heavy braking zone. Clip of the grass there by Del Mata, but keeps it saved. Moore suffering a little bit here. Stays clear of the 29 of Chavez and the 40 of Kurachenko. There is Megalos. There is Ishii alongside Takarasi. Takarasi looking for position. Ishii trying to defend it. From 2 through 3. Ishii far to the outside. Trying to drive around the 57. Trying to get clear. Looks like almost clear there. And does get clear. Good effort there by Ishii to hold on and avoid Takarasi making that overtake. There's Arashi Seto just ahead of Jake Carter. Then Karina Amara as Floros battles with the 09 of Hoshino. Another thing we're going to see here is Floros loses a lot of grip on the outer lane and loses that battle with Hoshino. A lot of the drivers that were sort of left stranded now have a chance to fight, like the 54 of Valerie Fang. Right now working on the 5 of Seth Smith Jr. There's Asada Quito back in the fold. There's the 10 of Roberta Crown. And then obviously the 26 of Isabel Espinosa. Front of the field is still one of the other Scuderia Gia cars, Katrina Ochoa. Front of the field at the moment over Isabel Lantra, over Mia Vitsuit, The top three did not change a whole lot there. It's everything beyond Sonia Walker and company. Del Blanco holding off the 8 of Maria Damata. And Damata making a good solid pass around the 67 Akira Moore. As we come to 31 laps to go. Up the hill through turn 1. Maria Chavez looking to have a little bit of fun here, trying to battle to get into the top 6. Sorry, it's top 7 because Moore is in 7th at the moment. Chavez 8th, Kurichenko 9th, 10th is Megalos. One of the Pace Poria cars makes it into the top 10 at the moment as things stand. 31 laps to go, though. Still a lot of time left in this race. 38 laps belonging to Katrina Ochoa. Kira Moore led 19 laps, but we've seen a lot of lead changes through the pit stop sequences that we're not going to see again at the rest of this race if things hold out the way they have been. Yuya Ishii just outside the top 10, sitting 11th. Takarasi 12th. 13th for Arashi Seto. Arashi Seto in the 13th position. Karina Amara, you saw just in the background, getting around Jake Carter. From 33rd on the grid. Amara is now 14th. If she can get around Seto in the 52, that is up 20 spots in the race. Would be the biggest move of anybody so far. And there's a chance that Amara just might. Amara trying to chase down the 52 now. Now we're watching this battle here. Just outside the top 10. Looking further down, there's Hoshino, the 09. There is the 75 of Luisa Floros. Also started in the very back of the field, started 32nd. Right now sitting in the 17th position. Not a bad effort so far. Almost up 16 spots if she can get around Hoshino. Browsing and perusing through the field as we look down beyond the order. You see Asada Kito's gotten around Valerie Fang, but otherwise most of the field's not really, the stragglers that were sort of left behind early on in this race, they've not made any inroads. front of the field, it's still Katrina Ochoa, the Baltimore, Maryland native. Trying to hold off the rookie, the Maltese driver, Isabel Lantra. So far doing an outstanding job of it. Really good drive so far. Ochoa took a pit stop gamble and went for the track position and currently got it. Went fuel only on that pit stop. Trying to get these Firestone tires over 50 laps is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult too for Lantra. Lantra took right side tires only. And that kind of makes sense. Obviously, anti-clockwise racing facility. So you're turning left more than you're turning right. But it's also putting more load on those right side tires because it is leaning on the right side tires. So that's why that was kind of important. I just don't see how it works out the same way as it does taking 4 tires, other than the track position being that critical, because Kira Moore is the first driver on 4. And still stuck behind right now, Maria D'Amata. So we'll see how that plays out as the race progresses. Ochoa leads still. We're looking at the last 25 laps of the race. Ochoa is not far away from securing the laps for the point for most laps led. Has led 45 laps so far today. So far doing outstanding, given the fact that she's on the oldest tires, easily the oldest tires. And is still rocking right now. Ochoa leads the way still over Lantra, who's lost touch with the 27. But V2's not really pressuring a lot either. Top 5 pretty well isolated. You have to look down at Maria D'Amata and Akira Moore to start seeing the pressure in the field. Moore led 19 laps in this race. And made a call, that team made a call to go with 4 fresh tires that 99% of the time would work. and just not paying off in the same way that it normally would. I mean, it's got to be frustrating for Kira Moore to be in that situation. Yeah, not a bad effort right now. Sitting ahead of Maria Chavez right now. She's in 7th, Chavez 8th, Kurachenko and Megalos behind in 9th and 10th. But when you have a hand on the race lead, especially looking at what could be your first race win in the series. It can be brutal. It can be very brutal feeling. .21 laps to go. Megalos seems pretty secure right now in that 10th spot. Pulling away from Ishii, who still has a lot of pressure right now from Nero Takarasi. Arashi Seto sitting still in the 13th position ahead of Karina Amara. We have 29 cars still running. 3 engine failures with Koivanemi, Riley, and Milinkovic out. Then Alanin out with a gearbox failure. So for Koivanemi, Riley, and Milinkovic, it is a 10-place grid penalty for the next race in Phoenix in 2 weeks. That's not going to be easy either. .20 laps to go, coming to 19 to go. There is your race leader. Going up the hill towards turn 1. You have to wonder if those tires are going to fall apart. Chua leads the way over Lantra, over Vitsut, over Walker, and then Blanco in the top 5. What a good race for Blanco. Coming out of the gates firing on all cylinders right now, sitting ahead of Damata and Kira Moore. Does seem like Blanco's falling just a little bit further and further behind. There's the 56 of Blanco. And just trying to stay ahead of the Brazilian and the Canadian. Again, just inside the top 10 right now is Kurachenko and Megalos as well. Wow, huge drop off by Vitsut. Huge drop off by Vitsut that lap. Both Cadaveristic cars right there, 3rd and 4th between Vitsut and Walker. But Vitsut was right there behind Lantra and now is losing a lot of time. Sonia Walker there to apply pressure. But this may be a very quick turnaround for Walker to try to get on the podium. Walker going to apply pressure, trying to go around. Teammate battle here for third. Last up on the podium. Still watching this battle for third. Walker still struggling to get around Vitsu, who is losing touch big time. And Ochoa came down pit lane in the meantime, which we figured was going to have to happen with those tires where they were at. That is exactly what happened. And now this is important because now this is the battle for second right now, as things currently stand. Look how close this battle's gotten. This is bad for Vitsu. You see all the cars sitting right behind. A lot of momentum being gained and lost here. And here comes Vitsu, as we were expecting. You have to pull the Band-Aid off at some point. Let Walker go for second. Save the team some points and move on. Make the most of it and hope that other drivers have to make pit stops too, because that's possible. Lantra can tiptoe right now. As long as this group battles it out and dukes it out and slows themselves up, Lantra has a 6.7 second advantage right now over Walker. Keep in mind, Walker's not anything wrong. For Lantra, this is huge. Did not show up in a big way at all in testing. There was a lot of concerns over where that 45 car was at after preseason testing was over. That 45 car looking outstanding now. Front of the field by 6.7 seconds. On debut. Ahead of the 2021, the reigning NAMRA Cup Series champion. And you have to keep the applause going so far with how things are running with Del Blanco, right now sitting in third place. Obviously still we're looking at 12 laps to go. But outstanding stuff so far for Blanco. Walker stays in second at the moment, pulling away a little bit from Blanco. This puts Ishii in the top 10 as well, with Ochoa and Bitsu coming down pit lane. It also puts Nero Takarasi in the top 10. In 10th, Amara, who got around Jake Carter a while ago, now up to the 11th position as Arashi Seto's come down pit lane. So pit stops are in order still with 11 laps to go. 11 laps to play here in Adelaide for the Challenger Series season opener. It has been frantic from the drop of the green flag. As the racing continues on here in Australia, tomorrow the Champ Car World Series, 2 p.m. local time from Bunnings Trade Motorsports Park right here in northern Adelaide. Karina Amara now a spot away from the top 10. Uphill fight for Amara, who started this race 33rd and last. What a start of the season for the Faceporium racing team. Luisa Floros in 14th as well. All three of those cars for the Greek team in the top half of the field. Walker's pulled away from Blanco. Blanco still in range from Maria D'Amata. Coming to 9 laps to go. Still a lot to play for that final step of the podium. Katrina Ochoa led the most laps of this race, 52 laps of 94. Kira Moore led 19 laps. Isabel Lantra currently on 9 laps led. Amata trying to get to the podium. Dale Blanco currently has it. And Blanco pulling away a little bit now as well. Now that Sonia Walker's pulled away a little bit with that clean air, Blanco's beginning to do the same. Kira Moore right now sitting in 5th ahead of Maria Chavez, Natalia Grachenko, Aspasia Megalos. Yuya Ishii and Nero Takarasi top 10 as they run. And there's Isabel Lantra, front of the field. Unfazed, 7.3 seconds clear. There is Arashi Seto, the last driver that's made a pit stop recently. Now only 28th position. We've had 5 retirements, the most recent being a few laps ago. Karina Sakurachi with a clutch failure. So another gearbox failure for a Toyota car. We had a gearbox failure for Chevrolet. We had part of the gearbox fail for a Toyota car. No retirements for Honda, no retirements for Ford so far in this race. There's Mia Vitsu, sitting right now 27th on your screen. Katrina Ochoa, most laps led, will score 26 place points as things currently stand. Isabel Espinoza in 25th will also score Very minimal points for a Scuderia Ghia. As the laps wind down on the Challenger Series season opener. There is Kira Moore trying to stay ahead of Maria Chavez. Chavez in 6th, Moore in 5th. Six laps to go here in Adelaide. Showtime. As the team continues to roll. To talk about the variety and the parity. Obviously you have Phoenix Motorsports leading the way, Cat Devil Racing 2nd, Crystal Cove 3rd, Black Rose Racing 4th, 5th is Frostfire Racing, a Scuderia Ghia 6th, Striker Motorsports 7th, Faceporia in 8th, Jan Julian Motorsport 9th. And the first time we see a duplicate team is Frostfire Racing with Takarasi in 10th. Absolutely wild. The 9 drivers for 9 teams in the top 9. 5 to go. And Lantra is still just ripping out fast lap times. 7.7 the gap now. Last lap was a 101.160. Sonia Walker a 101.3. Actually, we got to keep an eye. Another pit stop for Ochoa. In pit lane. Going a lap down now. There's Walker. There's Blanco. There's Damata. There's Moore. 4 laps to go here in Adelaide. Looking at Espacio Megalos up in the 8th position at the moment. Overall, that team I think has had the biggest recovery drive of any team in the series this weekend. 19th, 32nd, and 33rd was their starting positions for this race. 8th, 11th, 14th. Right now is where they're at. That's huge. That's enormous, the amount of swing that that team has put together in this race. They were knocked down in qualifying. You can easily say that they were the fastest cars in the field. With 3 laps to go, we'll actually pull up the fastest lap chart and show you where they're at. Right now, it is Ochoa, the fastest lap of the race, a 101.052. Really, none of the cars for Faceporia in the fastest lap category. They've just been very consistent. Extremely consistent. As Megalos tries to battle with Kurachenko. Coming to 2 laps to go here in Gold Creek. What an introduction to Adelaide we've had so far, with 2 laps to go. D'Amato was trying to catch up to Del Blanco. Seems just a little too far to reach. More under threat from Chavez for 5th. As the racing continues on. White flag is in the air for Isabel Lantra in Phoenix Motorsports. What a start of the return journey for Phoenix Motorsports and American Open Wheel Racing. Left the sport in 1999 with the dawn of the World Championship emerging. Went over the Namur Cup Series where they ran for 25 years. In 2024, they're back. They took a chance on a driver from the island nation of Malta. Didn't panic when preseason testing rolled through, and they're going to be rewarded in dividends. Isabel Lantra wins in Adelaide. Phoenix Motorsports return to victory lane. Lantra wins. Sonia Walker finishes 2nd. Del Blanco 3rd. Maria D'Amata finishes in 4th. Kira Moore rounds out the top 5 ahead of Maria Chavez. Natalia Kurichenko in 7th. Aspasia Megalos in 9th. Sorry, in 8th, excuse me. 9th place, Yuya Ishii. And Nea Takarasi, the top 10, with Karina Amara from 33rd to 11th. 22 positions gained for Karina Amara, ahead of Jake Carter, Sora Hoshino, Luisa Floros from 32nd to 14th, Yumi Mizuno in 15th, Felicia Zappa in 16th. There is the driver with the most laps led in this race in the fastest lap, finishing a lap down in 28th. There's Felicia Zappa, there's Amity Polsatrix, there's Seth Smith Jr. Polsatrix 17th, Seth Smith Jr. in 18th, Jace Clark in 19th. 20th is Melody Smith. Keisha Fox 21st, Asada Quito 22nd. 23rd, Valerie Fang. 24th, Roberto Crown Jr. Isabel Espinoza, then Mia Vitsut in 26th. Arashi Seto, the last car on the lead lap, finishing in 27th position as the field comes down pit lane. The season starts in earnest. Raven here at ABN Sports, we welcome you to return again for more racing in Australia tomorrow. Here from Bunnings Trade Motorsports Park in Adelaide for the start of the AT&T Champ Car World Series season. It's a trip to victory lane for Isabel Lantra and for Phoenix Motorsports for the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series. In 2 weeks' time, we head back stateside for a race at Phoenix Raceway. We go from the luscious forest here in Adelaide to the desert in Arizona. The championship now is in swing. How do people respond on the short oval? We'll find out in 2 weeks' time. Welcome you again tomorrow for racing right here in Adelaide. But until then, on behalf of everyone here for ABN Sports, for Horizon Corporation, Champ Car, Firestone, AT&T, Speedway, and all of its partners, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow to do it all again for 94 laps here in Adelaide. So long, everybody.